Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to call this regular meeting of the City of Pasco Code Enforcement Board to order. These proceedings are being presented live tonight on PSC-TV cable channel 191 and will be rebroadcast throughout the following month. The Code Enforcement Board conducts public meetings to hear issues regarding alleged violations of the city code and in particular property maintenance standards. For those of you present tonight, if you are given the opportunity to address the Code Board, we ask you speak clearly into the microphone at the podium. State your name and address for the record, and I would like to request if you brought a cell phone tonight that you'd please turn it off. Thank you. And we will now have roll call.
Mr. Dwayne Spear.
Present.
Mr. Thomas Grenois.
Present.
Mr. Daniel Gottschalk.
Present.
Miss Mary Gutierrez.
Present.
We have 4 members present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. The next item of business on tonight's agenda is the approval of the minutes from the May 2nd, 2019 meeting. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the minutes of May 2nd, 2019 meeting of the Code Enforcement Board be approved as mailed.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the minutes as mailed. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. None are opposed. The motion carries. We will now hear the cases scheduled for June 6th, 2019 at 7 p.m. for alleged violations of the Pasco Municipal Code. The City of Pasco is a petitioner. Property owners and their authorized representatives here to address the city's charges are the respondents. The purpose of these hearings tonight is to determine whether the city, by a preponderance of the evidence, has proven that the violation charged has occurred upon certain properties owned or controlled by the respondents, and if so, whether the required corrective action is reasonable and whether a monetary penalty is appropriate. The procedures for the hearing are as follows. The chair will open the hearing, which is being recorded. To ensure the accuracy of the testimony, each person who will be testifying tonight shall be sworn to truthfulness. Second, the city has a burden of proof and shall present its case, including any witnesses and exhibits that are relevant to the case. The respondents may cross-examine the city and the city's witnesses. Third, the respondents shall present their case, including any witnesses and exhibits that are relevant to the case. The city may cross-examine the respondents' witnesses. Fourth, the city will have the opportunity for rebuttal of the respondents' evidence raised in their case, and the respondent may answer the city's rebuttal. Fifth, after all the evidence is in the record tonight, the hearing will be closed. Remember, this will be your only opportunity to present evidence in the case. And finally, the board members will then discuss the charges, facts, and evidence presented and render a decision. A copy of the decision will be mailed to all parties within 10 working days of the hearing.
Mr. Chair, we're ready to hear tonight's cases. Before we begin, will you please explain the procedure for providing testimony and swear in all city staff, respondents, and any other witnesses who have appeared here to offer testimony?
Sure. Testimony can only be received at the microphone. When you address the board, please state your name and address at the beginning of your testimony. If you have written materials you wish to be considered, please present them to be marked as an exhibit. It will become part of the hearing record. Are there any questions about the procedure at all? Okay. Are there any objections to any member of this board hearing your matter due to your belief that any one of us may have a conflict of interest or the appearance of one? And if so, please indicate that now or it will be considered waived. Okay, we will now swear in the witnesses who will testify in these proceedings. Would all city staff, respondents, anybody that's going to come up and talk to us? Sir? Okay. Please stand and raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth in these proceedings? If so, please respond, I do. I do. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you. The city will now present their first case.
Mr. Chair, our first case is CEB 2019-0248. Ms. Johnson, will you please present your case?
The property known as 112 South 4th Avenue, Suite Number 1, was inspected on March 7th, 2019. Violations of the Pasco Municipal Code were observed and a correction notice was issued on March 12, 2019 after completion of the fire safety inspection. Notice of civil violation was issued on April 8, 2019 after reviewing the file and verifying no contact had been made by the owner in response to the fire safety inspection report and a reinspection had not been scheduled. The property owners were legally notified April 29, 2019 of the conditions which I believe to be in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code. The property owner, Antonia Velasquez, and her husband visited the building department counter on April 29, 2019, and spoke with Officer Barajas to receive clarification on the required corrections. On May 2, 2019, I received a letter from the property owner's brother, Mr. Velasquez, requesting a continuation of the hearing in order to remove all habitable items. I told him I would work with him on the remaining items. Since then, no communication had been received by our office regarding this property until today, June 6, 2019. Based on the final inspection of the property, which was completed today on June 6, 2019, it is my opinion the property is not in compliance with the Pasco Municipal Code at this time. I have supplied the board with pictures of the original property conditions with the dates clearly marked. Violations that have not been corrected are all of those that are still listed on the fire safety inspection report. We have not had any inspections of this property since that initial one on March 7th, 2019. City of Pasco recommends that Antonia Velasquez shall be given 10 days to correct any remaining violations, pass a fire safety inspection, or pay a penalty of $50 per day for 10 days.
All right, thank you. Who'd like to be heard in this case? Sir, come on up. Thank you for coming tonight. If you would state your name and address for the record at the microphone there, please, sir.
Yeah, my name is John Velasquez, and my address is 5304 Arrowhead in Kennewick, Washington.
What would you like to tell us about the case tonight?
We had an inspection back in March, and I'm the one that gave the tour to the fire inspection, which is what we were having, a fire inspection. And the room that you're looking at is actually the room that we use in the back, as a break room. We only use the building between January up until April 15th of 17 every year. And we have that room set up that way for when we use it, for personal use as a break room. I probably redecorated it more than what it should, but no one lives in the building. My sister and I both, have our own residence, and we use that room specifically, for us to use during that period of time. The building is actually closed to the public because we only use the front office, for appointments, that are done off tax season, whenever we set up an appointment. That those pictures are, the cap is missing off of the flower shop freezer that you're looking at. And there are some wires they look like they're exposed, but they're not. We had an inspection done by PUD a year ago when we used to turn off the electricity off for the year, and then we would turn it back on. But the PUD requested that we just leave it on and pay, a non-use for it. So they did do an inspection a little bit over a year ago, and we don't turn off the electricity off anymore. The items that we're saying that we hadn't upgraded, I have photographs to prove, that we were making an attempt, to correct some of the items that were listed that have not been corrected, and some of it is actually speculation, it's not actually a fact. Those are pedal boards. That is the basement, and we put stuff down in the bottom boxes that kind of got a little bit too carried away, with debris. But we have cleaned up some of it. I don't have pictures of it, but I told Rosanna that we had made some changes. I showed her photographs, that we installed, exit signs. We did the fire extinguishers already on there. I ordered a rail, for the steps that we were asked to do, and we were asked basically, to clean up the basement. The basement has never been used for the public. It's just an area, where we store boxes and stuff like that.
Sir, can I interrupt you really quickly?
Mm-hmm.
Is this a business you're running, or what is this?
No, this isn't a business. This is just storage space in the basement. This was overflow from our flower shop when we had boxes and stuff of merchandise that was delivered to us. It was put in the bottom of the basement. It's actually in boxes with decorations from different seasons at one time when we ran the flower shop in earlier years. It's kind of like a surplus.
So that's the basement. Upstairs, what do you?
Upstairs, we run a tax business from January up until April 17th, and we only use it for 4 or 5 months out of the year, and the rest we have the building locked up to the public.
So it is a business that you're running?
It is a business,
okay.
Partial of the
Partial
building,
business.
yes.
And then there was a picture in there with food pantry?
Yes, we do have that in the thing. We cook in the back, and we just had like a commercial kitchen. We used to do events with the city of Pasco We used to prep stuff in the back when we used to do fundraisers for our church in the outside. And so that stuff that you see there is actually leftover stuff that we had. We no longer participate in any of the activities, the festivals and stuff that you guys do, like the chili, the Fiery Food Festival and Cinco de Mayo and all that stuff. That equipment, there's commercial equipment that we have that we put in the back, and then we just started using it, and it just kind of accumulated with more and more stuff, on it. I didn't think that there was like a really big deal to have stuff in the back, but if it's going to be an inconvenience, we're just going to use the back. That same back room is going to be completely eliminated into just a storage space.
So the city's recommending 10 days to bring it up to code. Is that going to be enough?
It doesn't give me enough time because we've been in there since 1997, and we accumulated a lot of stuff over the years, and we use the room, we use our building basically for storage. And I wasn't planning on removing everything. We were just planning on boxing everything and putting it in boxes in the back room.
So is there any type of, all of that food that's there?
That is being taken to our homes. And it gets taken into our homes. And it's not really that much. It's just that one shelf. The rest is all just dishes and stuff like that.
Why didn't you reschedule the fire inspection?
Well, there was a misunderstanding between myself and the guy that did the fire inspection. He told me to eliminate any unnecessary things from the top, and that would satisfy the city. But apparently it didn't. Here I am, finding myself asking for extensions. It's a lot of work to do. We also run a restaurant. My sister owns, she bought Andy's Coffee Break, and we have the same problem over there too. We have things that we need to work on to improve. But that stuff that you see there is just basically one shelf of stuff, that we use, to cook in the back while we're there. And my sister had children that we used to, cook in the back because we've been there for since 1997. So it just kind of accumulated. But if it's going to create an inconvenience, just take, the kitchen stuff out and just take it home. And the rest of the stuff, though, we're going to store there, like the shelving and stuff. We have no space in our homes, to house all that stuff. So the back room, I would come back, on a later time and have the fire inspector go back in there and just see that we basically use our building as a storage place, to store our personal things.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yes.
You had mentioned that you had taken some pictures of things that were corrected that the city didn't have.
Yes.
Do you have those with you?
I do, and
Oh.
I showed them to
Okay.
the code. It's where we started. Let me see my phone.
Are they on your phone?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Can we work with that very well? No. Probably not?
They can't be
Okay.
submitted as evidence.
Oh, we can't have it submitted as evidence.
Oh, okay.
Would you
okay.
like for me to take photographs and send them to you email?
Well, you could,
what-
but we're probably going to decide the case here this evening.
So you said that 10 days is
It-
too aggressive of a timeline for you. What do you feel is a fair amount of time for you to bring everything to satisfy the city?
Well, I was trying to get a hold of my sister to get in contact with the Desert Star Electric, to have a meeting with them so that they can come and inspect the building. And I couldn't get a hold of her today, but I'm estimating like 30 days to finish what we started. Even though you can't use this, the extinguisher that you saw on the floor in a box has actually been placed, on the wall. And we've put the exit things over the doors. I know you can't really use them, but we started the process of trying to correct, there's another fire extinguisher there. And so even though, it's stated in here that I almost feel like they stated in here that nothing had been done. We kind of started the process of boxing things up, and things are in boxes. And we started, cleaning, the basement. A lot of that stuff is just boxes that are empty that we need to flatten down to make the room look, like it's under some sort of control. But those rooms have been, when we bought the building, we hadn't really done anything with the basement. They had been left like that by the previous owner. We've been in the building since 1997, and we used to rent from Mr. Walker, who used to own the building. It was called Walker's Barber Shop. And a lot of that stuff, that's the way that we bought the building. We hadn't done anything with it.
So there, what
That's
are we
the,
doing?
that's the living room, and then the back part is where the kitchen area is.
And when you are there, you've got children in there?
We used to, my sister's kids, but they're all grown up and past high school at this point.
Are there bathroom facilities there?
There's two of them, yes, correct. A men's and a women's bathroom. And on the report, it said that one of them wasn't working, but it is working. We just won't allow the public to use the restrooms anymore because of the fact that they get really messy. We just opt not to let nobody use their bathrooms.
So the city is saying that's a unpermitted residential occupancy.
We didn't use it as a residence, though. We set it up like one, but, I mean, nobody lives there.
Is there a bed there?
There was, and that's one of the things that was removed because we would work late hours and we would stay there during the day, but we didn't stay there overnight.
So you have living quarters, you have bathrooms, you have, did have a bed, which you just taken out.
We don't
Sounds
have
like
an
a
actual-
residence to me.
Yeah, we don't have an actual kitchen. We had stuff there. We had a little stove top. It's not like or a cooktop, but nobody lived there. I mean, we set it up like one, but you know, it feels like one, but nobody lives there.
So going back to the 10 days,
I need like 30 days to pack up a lot of the stuff and put it away. And then if you do a reinspection in 30 days, all that stuff will be gone. And the electrician's supposed to get a hold of me. I left a message for them. I can give you an answer tomorrow, but I couldn't give you an answer tonight. And I think what I was told what they're really looking at this point was more like the electrical part for safety purpose, but there isn't anybody there during the day other than myself that's going over there now to clean up, you know, the stuff that you guys want cleaned up.
Places burn down at night too, you know.
What's that?
Places burn down at night too.
Yes, but we have insurance for that too.
This building is also connected to multiple other buildings downtown. It's on across from the farmer's market, so it's in the middle of a structure of multiple commercial units, which is our major concern.
Anything else? I'm good. I'm good. Good. Anything else you'd like to add, sir?
I would just like the opportunity to correct the things that we were asked to do. I explained, I received the letter, you know, kind of late, so we didn't, even though it stated the 7th when I gave the show, I didn't receive the letter until almost 20 days later. My sister also received that almost 20 days later. And she received a more extensive explanation of what needed to be done before I did it. I'm the one that helps her, you know, with the building, so she leaves me responsible for that, which is why I'm here.
One, you had the courage to show up tonight. A lot of people don't. You get a couple points for that one. But thank you very much. You can go ahead and have a seat, sir.
Thank you.
There being no further evidence to be presented, I determine the record complete. The hearing is now closed and no additional evidence will be permitted. The board will now discuss the charges, facts, and evidence presented, then we will render our decision. First off, do we agree by a preponderance of the evidence the city has proven that a violation of the Pasco Municipal Code has occurred? And may I have a motion, please?
I move that the board, having heard the case and facts presented, and by preponderance of the evidence presented, find the respondent in violation of the Pasco Municipal Code.
Is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. What do we want to do?
Well, that's a lot of stuff to clean up in 10 days.
I don't
So-
mind giving him a little extra time.
Yeah, I don't have a problem going with 30 days, but no more than 30. Only because summer is coming and the farmer's market's gonna start, and there's gonna be a lot of people there. So I'm even thinking that,
I'm fine with that.
Okay, go ahead, Mary.
you want me to do it?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah, okay, let's see. It's not a daily penalty, okay, let me go back. So, the recommendation, I move that the city of Pasco's recommendation that Antonio Valesquez shall be given 30 days to correct any remaining violations and pass the fire safety inspection or pay a penalty of $50 per day for 10 days if not corrected.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Sir, we're going to give you a little extra time. You'll get official notice in the mail within 10 days. Thank you very much. Do we have any other cases on the agenda tonight, sir?
We asked for the case that did not appear tonight and that was on the
Oh.
agenda to be moved to the resolution. Case number CEB 2019-0458.
All right, excellent. Who would like to make a motion on the resolution?
I move that the board approve resolution number 2019-6 as amended, finding that code violations have been corrected and may be dismissed, deferring action on certain cases until proper notification is made, accepting voluntary correction agreements, and assessing penalties and imposing timeframes on certain cases. Assessing penalties and imposing timeframes on certain cases.
Second on there?
I second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. We accept the resolution as amended. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, none opposed. Do we have a report from staff tonight?
No, sir.
Is there any further business?
Just giving you a quick reminder that next code board is going to be July 11th.
Oh, okay. Excellent. All right, there being no further business before the Pasco Code Enforcement Board tonight, this meeting is declared adjourned at 7:21.